everyone. Welcome to the journey of the world through this documentary. Keeping the time limit in mind, I have taken one or two countries from each continent and will be highlighting their fascinating facts and cultures. So let's begin our documentary going deep into the world. Here in India, we all have different cultures, traditions, languages and races, but all live integrated in peace. Unity in diversity is such a great feature of our country that binds all of us with love and brotherhood. Do you know that the Kumbh Mela in India, which is celebrated after every 12 years, is visible from the satellites? Yes, you heard me right. The Kumbh Mela is decorated so well that it is visible from the satellites in space. Isn't this interesting? There are many fascinating facts like this one about India. India also has a number of monuments such as Amer Fort, Akshardham Temple, Konark Sun Temple, Ahilyabai Fort, Taj Mahal, Qutub Minar and many more. Also, the game of chess was originated in India. It is said to be based on a 17th century game called as Chaturanga in India. Moreover, one of the oldest universities of the world is located in India called the Nalanda University. Now let's move to the next country. Konnichiwa friends, now we will talk about the culture of Japan. Let's start. The language of Japan is Japanese. That's what everyone knows. But do you know that the old Japanese was originated in China? Also, Japanese is divided into three types of alphabet: kanji, hiragana and katakana. Early Japanese culture was hugely influenced by China. During the Edo era, Japan closed its doors for all relationships with the outside world. This cultivated a distinct Japanese culture. After the fall of this era in 1868, Japan reversed this practice by adopting cultural practices from all over the world and mixing them. Over the years, Western culture has hugely influenced Japan, including food, art, and lifestyle. Religions. There are two main religions in Japan: Shinto and Buddhism. Shinto is a pure Japanese religion, whereas Buddhism was imported from the China in the 6th century. In Japan, the largest holiday is the New Year's celebration. There are other festivals as well like Matsuri, which is the celebration for gods of land and sea. Every town in Japan has its own Matsuri celebration, and all the celebrations are well attended by everyone. Sports. They play a significant role in Japanese culture. Sumo, judo, and karate are traditional Japanese sports, while baseball, soccer, and rugby have been adapted from different cultures. Coming to cuisine of Japan, we all know that they eat sushi, but do you know that the Japanese are primarily fish eaters and 12% of the total fish caught is consumed by Japan? Sushi is also highly consumed by Japanese people. The sushi consists of nori sheet, which is used on the outside of the sushi, and the filling is made from short grained white Japanese rice and vegetables. Now I will tell you some engaging facts about Japan. The oldest company of the world, Kangagumi, is located in Japan. The Japanese people live almost the longest, and Japan has 5 million vending machines, which is the highest in the world. Also, Japanese people are very hardworking and focused towards their work. Today, Japan is growing very fast in all the industries and is successful in many inventions. Now let's move to the next country. Bonjour friends, now we'll talk about our next country, France. French language was born after a war. It was developed when a place called as Gaul was captured by the Romans in the 1st and the 2nd century BC. Just like its language, French culture is also very interesting. Since the 17th century, France has been regarded as a center of high culture. As such, French culture has played a vital role in shaping world arts, cultures, and sciences. In particular, France is internationally recognized for its fashion, cuisine, art, and cinema. Also, earlier French culture was influenced by Celtic and Gallo Roman cultures as well as German tribe Franks. Now, while talking about France, we can't ignore the French art. So, now let's talk about the art of France. Art is everywhere in France, particularly in Paris and other major cities. Gothic and neoclassic influenced art can be seen in many buildings. The Louvre Museum in Paris is among the largest museums of the world. It's famous for its art, including Mona Lisa and Venice de Milo. Festivals. French people celebrate a lot of festivals, but their main festivals are Victory in Europe Day, which is celebrated on 8th May, and their national festival on 14th July, which is called Les Fêtes Nationales de France. Now I'll tell you about the clothing of France. Paris is known as the home to many dressing styles and fashion houses such as Christian Dior, Louis Vuitton, Chanel, and Hermes. Many French people dress in a professional and fashionable way. The men's costume include broad-brimmed hats, embroidered waistcoats, and short jackets. Women wear dresses and elaborately decorated aprons. The most distinctive feature of the women's costume is the elaborate lace headgear, which is generally called a coiffe. Now, coming to French cuisine, while cooking styles have changed to emphasize lighter fare, many still associate French cooking with heavy sauces and complicated preparation. Now, the first food that comes to our mind if we think about France is French fries. There is an interesting fact about French fries which is known by very less people, that the French fries are not French. It may sound surprising, but they belong to Belgium. The real reason why Americans called fried potatoes French fries is because Thomas Jefferson discovered the treat while in France while serving as an American minister. Now I will tell you some amazing facts about France. France is the most visited country of the world. France has the largest art museum. And France once had a king that lasted only 20 minutes. Also, France produces more than 1500 types of cheese. Now, ending with France, let's move to the next country. Hola friends, now we'll talk about our next country, Mexico. Spanish is the official language of the government and the first language of the 90% of the people of Mexico. Also, the other 10% of the people speak English, which is not very widely spoken there. Now, talking about the culture of Mexico, Mexican culture is a hugely diverse domain that encompasses vast differences in identity. The variety of influences throughout the Mexican history, from the ancient Mayan to Aztec civilizations to the domineering European presence, has come to shape and define the enthralling country it is today. Coming to art, the Mexican art associates with clay pottery, angular designs, colorful baskets, and many more. There are two famous Mexican artists, Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera, who make paintings and drawings that include vibrant colors and depictions of life. Also, the country is closely associated with mariachi style of folk music. La cucaracha is a well-known mariachi staple. Coming to Mexican clothing. Now, many may not think of Mexico as a place that fosters high fashion, but many fashion designers hail from Mexico, such as George Duck and Julia Y. Renata. There is also a Mexican Fashion Week. In cities, fashion in Mexico is influenced by international trends, so that typical urban Mexican dresses similar to people in Europe and the United States. Traditional Mexican clothing for women includes a sleeveless tunic like dress called a huipil. We all love nachos, right? So let's talk about Mexican food. Mexican cuisine varies widely between regions as each town has its own culinary traditions. Tortillas and other food made from corn are common everywhere, though as are pepper, tomatoes, and beans. Rice is also a staple according to history. Many foods that originate in Mexico are popular worldwide, including avocados, chocolate, and pumpkins. Also, the real nachos were crunchy, cheesy, and truly Mexican. Now, let's move to the next country. Hola, friends. Now, we'll talk about the next country, Brazil. So, the official language of Brazil is Portuguese. 97.9% of the people speak Portuguese in Brazil. Also, other languages spoken by the people in Brazil are German and some indigenous languages, which is 1.9% and 0.2% respectively. Portuguese is also the official and national language of Brazil. The culture of Brazil is very interesting. The culture of indigenous Indians, Africans, and Portuguese have together formed the culture of Brazil. The Portuguese culture is by far the dominant of these influences. From it, Brazilians acquire their language, their main religion, and most of their customs. While talking about Brazil, one of the most attractive thing in Brazil is their festivals and celebrations. Some of them are Carnival. Carnival is certainly one of the largest, oldest, and most popular Brazilian festivals, celebrated primarily in Rio de Janeiro. Carnival is also celebrated in other Brazilian cities like Salvador and Recife. Second, Réveillon Rio de Janeiro. Réveillon or the New Year's Eve is widely celebrated all over Brazil, but the city of liveliest and loudest celebration is Rio de Janeiro. Réveillon in Rio de Janeiro is celebrated on beach with band performance in early night and spectacular fireworks at midnight. Lollapalooza. It hosts a variety of musical shows. Many music varieties such as hip hop, rock, electronic, punk rock, etc. are played here. People have a fantastic time here. There is also impressive art and fashion displays. Now, we have talked a lot about celebrations, so let's move to the clothing of Brazil. In Brazil, people usually wear casual and comfortable clothes. The most popular traditional pieces of clothes in Brazil are bombachas pants, Biana dress, poncho, Miranda costume, and cowboy hat. The bombachas are baggy pants often worn by gauchos who are American cowboys. Now coming to Brazilian cuisine, at the heart of Brazilian diet are rice, beans and manioc, which is a root vegetable from which they make farinha, a fine yellowish flour. Meat, poultry and fish are added to staple food in varying degree. Now I will tell you some amazing facts about Brazil. Brazil has been the largest coffee producer since 150 years. The star on the Brazilian flag depicts a starry night. And the name Brazil has derived from a tree called as Brazil wood. So now let's move to the next country. Now we'll talk about Poland. The language of Poland is Polish. But the language Polish has many different dialects and the main one include Wielkopolski, Malopolski and Masovian. According to declarations, in Polish culture, the most important value in the life of the Polish people is the family. Secondly, they value their health. Less important but nevertheless significant values such as honesty, quiet life, career, faith, and respect from others. Now, coming to clothing of Poland, Polish people wear modern Western style clothing and generally dress conservatively. Clothing is very expensive, so wardrobes tend to be small. Traditional Polish folk costumes may vary by region but are typically brightly colored and decorated with embroidery. Poland's folk costumes are sometimes still worn for special occasions like weddings or on the most rural parts of the Poland by members of the older generations. Now moving to cuisine of Poland, as it is located at the crossroads of historical trade routes between Europe and Asia, merchants from distant lands used to come to Poland for amber and to trade in exotic spices and outlandish culinary ideas. Some famous dishes of Poland are zurek. The fermented soup made with sour rye flour is the definitive Polish comfort food. Bigos, a much loved Polish stew made from meat and a variety of vegetables. Coming to sports, just like many other European countries, football is the most famous sport in Poland. Many sports such as basketball and volleyball are also very popular among Polish people. Also, the men's and the women's volleyball teams are ranked 2nd and the 12th respectively in the FIVB World Rankings. Motorcycle speedway, sky jumping, handball and tennis are also played there. Now I will tell you some marvelous facts about Poland. Poland has the world's biggest castle. Poland has the world's first upside down house. And Poland once disappeared from the world map between 1772 and 1795. Now we'll talk about our next country, Morocco. The language of Morocco is Moroccan Arabic called as Darija. Their primary language is Arabic and the second language is French. More than 33% of the people speak French in Morocco. Talking about Morocco, let's come to Moroccan culture. The main Berber and Arab cultures of Morocco are complemented by elements of French, Roman, Jewish, Spanish, and other traditions as well, and eclectic mix. A truly cosmopolitan culture traveling within Morocco's borders is like a journey around the entire Mediterranean basin and far beyond. Now let's talk about the clothing of Morocco. Traditional Moroccan clothes are often not only attractive but the long, loose, and flowing garments are both compliant with religious beliefs and practical for keeping cool in the hot and sunny conditions. The traditional Moroccan clothing for both men and women is called the jaleba, a long loose outfit with long sleeves and hood. On special occasions, they also wear a red cap which is called fez. Women wear kaftans tasselled by ornaments. The jaleba has a hood while kaftans does not. Now let's talk about Moroccan cuisine. The main Moroccan dish people are most familiar with is couscous. Beef is the most commonly eaten red meat in Morocco, usually eaten in a tagine with a wide selection of vegetables. Chicken is also very commonly used in tagines or roasted. They also use additional ingredients such as plums, boiled eggs, and lemon. Now let's talk about the sports in Morocco. Some of the most popular sports in Morocco are soccer, motorsports, rugby, handball, golf, tennis, basketball, skiing, athletics, and many more. So friends, now I'll tell you some awesome facts about Morocco. There is a blue city in Morocco. As the name describes, most of the things there are made of blue color. Just like the blue city, there is also a red city in Morocco. Also, although Morocco is in Africa, but it is just 9 miles away from Europe. This is all for our documentary. I hope you all enjoyed watching it. Thank you so much.